In this video, we're going to introduce a few functions that are the functions that we'll primarily use for transformations. This first graph we should already be familiar with. We have f at x is equal to x is the same thing as y is equal to x, which is a straight line that has a y-intercept of 0 and a slope of positive 1. Notice that in this line, all the x values and the y values are the same, and this function is actually called the identity function. The next graph we'll look at is called the square function. It's the graph f at x is equal to x squared, and we'll plot a couple of points. Let's select some domain elements that are right near the origin and use these to determine what the corresponding y values are and create a table of values. For our first domain element, we're going to evaluate the function at 0. So we open up a hole for the x and we plug our value 0 in and we get 0 out for y. So that's the corresponding y value. We do this again for the x value 1. We plug 1 in for the x that is going to be then squared. So the output y value is 1. And we keep doing this for these x values, plugging them into the function. So negative 1 quantity squared is positive 1, and that becomes the corresponding y value. When we plug 2 into the function, that's x squared with 2 plugged in, which is going to have an output of 4. And when we plug negative 2 into the function, again, x squared with negative 2 plugged in this time also has an output of positive 4. So now we have a couple of ordered pairs that we can plot. We have 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4, negative 1, 1, and negative 2, 4. And if we were to connect those dots and even collect more ordered pairs, we would see that the graph of this function is going to be a parabola that opens up. Let's zoom in here just a little bit, because when we start using transformations, we're going to want to keep track of a couple of ordered pairs to make sure that our transformations land in the right spot. And these 3 ordered pairs we'll call our points of interest. Basically, we'll keep an eye on where these land as we move through our transformations when we're transforming the x squared graph. Now let's look at the square root function. Let's notice really quickly that the domain of a radical function is determined by taking the radicand and setting that greater than or equal to 0. Well, the radicand in this case is just x, so x greater than or equal to 0 are the only elements that we're allowed to plug in to this function. These are the elements that make up the domain. So the x values that we choose to plug in have to be greater than or equal to 0. I'm going to choose 0, 1. I'm going to make a jump to 4 because the square root of 4 is an integer, and I'm actually not going to use these last 2 rows. So let's start by plugging 0 into the function. We'll get the square root of x, and we're going to plug 0 in for that x. The square root of 0 is 0, and that is the corresponding y value that comes out when we plug in x is equal to 0. Let's evaluate the function at 1. Same thing, the square root of x, but this time we plug 1 into that independent variable, and the square root of 1 is 1. So 1 is the output y value that corresponds with the input value 1. And lastly, we'll plug 4 into the function, getting the square root of x, plugging 4 into the independent variable. We've got the square root of 4, which is 2, so 2 is the corresponding output for that input. Now let's plot these ordered pairs. So we have 0, 0, 1, 1, and 4, 2. We could collect more ordered pairs, but this is enough to give you the general idea of the shape of this function. It's essentially half a parabola opening off to the right. And the ordered pairs that we're going to want to call our points of interest are these 3. 0, 0, 1, 1, and 4, 2 are the points that we'll keep track of if and when we apply a transformation to the square root of x graph.